great to see so many friends here for another near Hall of Fame induction dinner. On behalf of Ronnie's family and my family, I'd like to extend our congratulations to this year's inductees and their families. I'm sure this day will become a memory you'll cherish for years to come. The Ron Bouchard Memorial Award honors lifetime achievement in auto racing in New England. Most of the past recipients were names you knew very well. This year's recipient may not be familiar to you right now, but the work he has quietly been doing for many years is helping to build the future of the sport in this region. Anyone who knew Ronnie will remember that he always had time for people. He went out of his way to make time for young fans, and he was also happy to pass along advice to aspiring drivers. My father, Ed Flunky, took a similar satisfaction from serving as a mentor to young drivers and young crewmen as they made their way into the sport. My brother Eddie still spends his weekends at racetracks in this area, always offering a hand to drivers and teams who are still learning the ropes. With those three men as an example, I thought we'd honor someone in the sport who is also paying it forward, so to speak, someone doing all he can to make racing more accessible, not only today, but next year and for years to come. And that truly is a lifetime achievement. Every generation likes to think that they lived through the very best years in racing. I know many of us in this room share that feeling, but it's worth remembering that future generations of racers and fans deserve a chance to feel that same way. With that in mind, I'd like to ask my brother Eddie to say a few words about our honoree.
Good afternoon. On the way here, I got two things I learned today. Don't trust navigation because it's actually to West Field instead of Westford. But now we're going the other direction. But I made it back, thanks God, with racing experience. I was able to get here fairly in time. And the other I learned that when you print out stuff on your printer, it's water-soluble ink, and my speech got ruined as I was making an illegal U-turn. My Gatorade spilled on it, so I got to go back to the written speech, so forgive me if it's a little choppy. But anyway, first of all, I'd like to thank my sister for the kind words and introduction here. Some might wonder why the adjustment to Ronnie's award. Well, it started last year at this banquet, as my sister and I were enjoying the event. We couldn't help notice the change in attendance. Our group had dwindled down quite noticeably, maybe partially because of the COVID situation, or maybe from all of the other life changes. But for us, we noticed one very obvious situation. None of us were getting any younger. And that led us to thinking about how we could bring some youth to our group. We talked a few times about some of the ideas we had, and the one idea we liked most was changing up the Ron Bouchard Lifetime Award to include the outstanding youth in and around our sport. So here we are. Why this young man? I knew instantly who deserved this honor. About 15 years ago, I was asked to help present trophies and awards at an annual Silver City Quarter Midget Banquet. This young man gave an amazing speech to the kids. I was impressed by his positive but quiet personality. The kids loved him, and he drew them to him. Maybe because he was a big kid in heart, or because of his size. Everyone loved him, and he drew me in too. An instant friendship came from that first meeting. We became great friends over the years. Like all great friendships, we watched over each other, helping each other whenever we could. I could go on forever filling you in all of his dreams, accomplishments, and his growth, becoming the fine young man he is today, but I'll let him have that honor. Besides, I'm sure you all will be hearing a lot more great things from him in the future. So again, why this young man? Being so young, I'm sure he has never met Ronnie or even saw him race in person. But if you spend some time around him, you will find the two of them are quite the same. Both have a way of bringing out the best in you if you take the time to listen to what they are teaching. If Ronnie wants something done, He had a way to gather help around him, and it was done without even asking you. Sorry. Okay, come on. Ronnie had a way to draw you in and want you to do your best, not just for him, but for yourself. I see this in this young man. He's not quite as outgoing as Ronnie was, but he has his own way of drawing you in and pulling the best out of you. Ronnie did this for me and many others thousands of times over the years, and I know this young man will pay this honor forward to anyone that seeks his guidance. I know he will do whatever he can to help guide his students to be the best they can be in whatever they choose to do in life. He's proven this already. He's the type of guy that it is often said would give his right arm to help his friends or students, and I have proof. He's already given up part of one of his fingers for one of his students. Sorry, I had to say. I'm honored at this time. I want to say, first of all, if you ever have an opportunity to pay something forward, do it. I'm honored and thrilled to present this year's Bouchard Lifetime Award to, and I'm sure Ronnie will love this, to Mr. Johnny Magellan.
All right, just a quick disclaimer. I only speak in front of people once a year at my annual banquet, and I usually just have to break the ice by saying I'm not the best public speaker, but I'm a decent reader, so don't expect me to look up from this paper. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to thank you, Paula, and Edward for honoring me with the Ron Bouchard Memorial Award. More importantly, I appreciate you for recognizing the positive impact of our Region 1 Quarter Midget Driver Development Program. To be here in the same room with so many legends of short track racing is truly amazing. As for me, I haven't done much as a racer, and that's okay. It's what this sport has done for me that I'm most appreciative of. I started racing quarter midgets at Silver City in Meriden, Connecticut in 1996. I was 7 years old and the sport quickly became part of my signature. I'm sure all of you can recall a time in your life where you met someone new and had to share something about yourself. In these instances, I was always proud to share that I drove race cars. It was my superpower as a kid, and it helped me through some hard times. Today, more kids need to be raised knowing that they have a superpower. They all need to be able to learn, work hard, enjoy some success, and take pride in their accomplishments. Home life for me wasn't easy. Both of my parents worked around the clock, and my relationship with my dad wasn't the best. Growing up, we always ate dinner as a family, and on the weekends, we went racing. Our racing experience brought us much closer together, even more so than Mom's sauce and meatballs. I had a great quarter midget career. Over a 9-year period, there were track records, track championships, hell, I even took down 5 national titles. That's 2 more than Doug Kobe. All joking aside, it took a while for me to recognize that it wasn't the accolades that made racing so special to me. It was the lifetime friendships that were made and treasured memories of happy family times. The next step for me after quarter midgets was 270 sprint dirt racing. It was a new challenge and I loved it. The winning mindset that I had developed proved to be useful as I was winning races during my rookie season. Unfortunately, while I was climbing the ladder on the dirt scene, life at home wasn't getting any better. When I graduated high school, I left home, and when I did, we stopped racing. In the blink of an eye, part of my signature was gone. For the first time in my life, had nothing to keep me grounded, nothing to work towards, no goals. I was lost and going down a dark path. I remember being home one Sunday and back with my family. We were at the dinner table when my sister randomly broke down. It turned out that we shared the same struggle. We both wanted to go back racing. We desperately needed to fill that missing void in our lives. We agreed as a family to get back in the saddle. Nicole went modified racing, and I got myself a death trap of a limited late model. At the time, I was only interested in racing on my own terms. Although it was the ultimate struggle, it was the best decision I could have made for myself. In fact, that's what ultimately led me to Ed Flemke Jr. Eddie knew my backstory, and I'm not sure that he realizes how much I needed him to pop into my life when he did. Everything happens for a reason, and I mean everything. I started with a car that I thought would be awesome, but it turned out to be just a Flintstone flyer. The amount of work that car needed helped put me back on the straight and narrow under Eddie's watchful eye. If Ed was at the shop, so was I, even after my car was finished. One of my fondest memories is of Eddie teaching me how to TIG weld. I would park my ass at his welder for hours and weld every piece of scrap steel in that shop together. When I drop a nice bead, I'd run it over to him like a little kid. Ed, I hope you know how much your friendship means to me. In so many ways, you saved me, and I'm eternally grateful. You're an awesome mentor. After some time, I started a business teaching kids gymnastics. It's grown a lot, and it has been very successful. My sister got married, had kids, and before long, wanted them to go racing. Silver City's program had slumped a bit with low car counts. Nicole wanted to race there, so we set out to revitalize the program. After enlisting some help with some alumni, the driver development program was born. Since 2019, the program has put over 100 race-ready cars on the track for entry-level families to begin their racing experience. Families can affordably rent a car with full support services in order to gauge their kids' interest. The program helps folks locate their own first cars after the first year should they want to continue. Car counts are now off the charts in every class. The most important things, more kids are getting the chance to be a superhero. Families are growing closer by sharing a common interest. Every race team in our pits have grown together to be one big family. Each year, the family gets bigger. I'd like to thank all our sponsors, vendors, volunteers, everyone who has had a hand in this journey. I'd like to congratulate Carl Fredrickson of Speedway Illustrated for receiving his media award here today. His magazine will feature our program in an upcoming issue, and we could not appreciate it more. Racing folks helping racing folks, what a concept. Congratulations as well to all others honored here today. You are our heroes. Thank you.